Hey guys, I think it's about time we put a done stamp on the EFI system on Project Day of the truck. Tag along. Okay, so I know you all know about this. Well, here I am on the side of the on-ramp and she won't start. Well, Junior was right. It's amazing what 5 gallons of gas will do for you.
Not much. Not good.
Anyways, we put 5 gallons of gas in it, primed it 3 or 4 times, started right up. Thank you, Junior. And because of that, we have this. Now, this is not a sponsored video. I wish it were, but Holley would not return my emails. This is a product called Hydromat. It goes in place of the sock filter on your pickup, on your fuel pump inside the tank, and it's supposed to retain fuel as fuel runs away from the pickup. So hopefully this is going to solve the fuel starvation problem and help keep me from running out of gas and stalling when the brake is applied. So what we've got to do is get the truck up in the air, get the box off so that we can tear into that sending unit and get this installed. Okay, so we've got the box off the truck with the hoist, and that worked pretty slick. And the only thing that was hanging us up over here was the vent tube for the differential. I got it screwed to one of the ribs. So what we've got to do is we've got to get the Phytech fuel pump out of the tank and remove the sock filter that comes with it, and that's where we're going to install the Holley Hydromat. Or Hydromat, sorry. So let's get this thing off and we'll get this cleaned up first before we start removing anything. Well, we managed to get the fuel pump out, and the only casualty so far is the original sock that was pressure fit on here well, that's it right there. I fish that out of the fuel tank and get the Holley Hydromat attached to the pump and get her fished back down in there. Okay, so here's the first problem that we run into, is the wall barrel pump has this big opening that pressure fits onto the pump, and obviously Holley does not use that same size. It's awful small. So we've got to figure out a way to adapt this little collar here onto this so that it'll fit the water pump or fuel pump. So Dad come up with an idea, possibly with these washers, to that will fit over that. And so if we use enough to space it out properly, we might be able to tear this apart and maybe tack that onto a washer and maybe screw that down to that piece there. Hopefully make it work. All right, so we've got a plan, and what we've got to do is we've got to get that little collar off the inside of the old adapter. So we've got the fine stone on the grinder with a fresh stone there, and we're just going to go and try and cut that off ever so gently. And we've got one of these washers kind of filed out on the inside so that it's going to fit down over that. And then we're going to take another washer that will adapt the piece that we're grinding on right now, drill a couple holes, screw everything together. We're going to use some seal-off in between everything so that we don't run the risk of sucking air when the fuel runs away. Cross your fingers, everything's going to work. So we got that ground down so that it fits inside the washer. But now we've got to secure it in there and then make sure that we've got enough clearance here to make that adapter work, and seal everything up in between. And we're probably going to have to drill some holes down through there to hold everything together. And no thanks to MacGyver. That's what we all call Dad, because he can jerry-rig things up like nothing. You should see some of the stuff he does around here. Well guys, there is our conglomeration of making this filter fit the wall barrel pump on the Phytech fuel pump here. It's all together, it's secure, It's a little bit heavier than it was when we started, but now we're going to attach it to the pump and get things installed and back together. And then I can drive this thing till she almost runs out of gas and see how well it performs when the fuel tank is low. Anyways, let's get her put back together. Well, first attempt to get this thing put back into the tank did not fare so well. That came off. So I think what we're gonna do is clean that up. We're gonna have to try and spark a weld on that. All right, and now that we've had this thing dipped in gas, she's good and ripe for having a good little fire. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna wet this towel and create a little hole, a little peephole there in the middle and keep it damp. So let's grab the welder and see if we can't spark that on there. All right, let's see if we can blow ourselves up. Bubble gum, my friends.
Well, once we get it all figured out, we ended up tack welding that little ring that fits up against the fuel pump onto the hydromat. And sketchy's not the word for it. We got it done. It's on there. I'm not going to show you the welds because it's a little bit embarrassing. But let's take a look and see where we are so far. We're getting pretty close to starting this thing up again and getting the bed put back on the truck.
So we did manage to get the fuel pump with the hydromat sock filter in place. We're just getting ready to put these 6 bolts back into place. We're going to come in and we're going to double check our tightness here, and then we will be good to go. So we'll try a first start and make sure our fuel gauge and all that stuff is still working before we go and put the bed back down, and we'll call her good. Anyways, let's get these things in down. Looks good to me. I heard it prime. I think we're good to go.
Okay, so all we've got to do now is clean up our tools and get the truck pushed back into the box. We'll get it set down, and first thing tomorrow morning, we will finish up getting the box bolted back into place. So I've got to get it turned around because right now it is, it's about 25 minutes to 8. So I've got to get this done so I can get over and get ready for the Car Guy and 6-fan show. If you don't know what that is, it's a collaborative effort between myself and Grant Tommy, who is straight 6-fan. I'll put his link right up here on the screen so you guys can go over and check out his channel as well. Because every other Thursday at 7 o'clock Central, 8 Eastern, we do a talk show live on YouTube. And we usually have guests. A bulk of season 6, which is what we're doing right now, is guests. So I hope you head on over there and check us out. Anyways, I'm going to get this thing put back together, so let's get her done.
All right, we got the box down on the frame again, and we're not off by too much. I think we're over that way a little too far on the front. This left rear actually looks good. We're a little close over here. That's got to go that way a little bit. And yeah, we got to go over and forward here in the front. So we'll get this thing lined up. We'll poke the bolts back down through, and then we're ready to spin the truck around, put it back up in the air, and tighten up all the bolts that hold the bed on. Run our wires back in for our taillights, and we should be golden. So I'm going to do that.
And when I come back, we're going to take this thing for a test drive, see if we can't burn off some of that fuel, and see if whether or not we've even fixed the problem after all this headache this afternoon. So next time you see us, we've got a big trip planned for Saturday. That's when we're going to be taking for a drive and see how far our fuel gets us, as it says.
Well, guys, we did manage to get our trip underway. We put over 300 miles on 525 kilometers or so. Old Dale the truck did one thing. It averaged about 18 miles to the gallon, and I'm okay with that. But all this work that we just did in this video didn't fix anything. We got about 100 miles outside of where we left, and the first stop sign that I came to, well, it tried to stall and stutter. And then we proceeded through that little town, come up to the next stop sign, and it did stall. So I knew at that point we didn't fix the problem that we had set out to, and I'm thinking at this point we just simply got to put a EFI tank in the truck. There's no two ways about it. So thank you, Holley, for your valiant effort, but this tank is just way too long to lose a little bit of fuel and have it sloshed all the way to front. So I guess now we're on the quest for an EFI tank. We'll have to swap this one out and do this project basically all over again with the fuel pump and fuel lines, but it is what we're going to have to do to make it work. I appreciate you guys sticking around all this time, and there's a few other YouTube channels, if you don't know who they are listed in the description box below. I hope you guys go down there and check them out because they're great channels and they deserve to be watched and they deserve your attention. Namely speaking, Nick's Garage, he is already a big channel, but he is such a community-minded group of guys over there that help us out on our channel as well as a few others, and they deserve your views. So go over there, check them out. If you're into Mopars or hot rods or muscle cars, that's the place to do that. That's it. That's all I got for this episode. We're coming back with some more great stuff. Stay tuned for the giveaway announcement. If you don't know what that is, you're gonna have to follow me on Instagram to find out. Take care, guys. Stay focused on the windshield, not the rearview mirror. I love you. God bless. Let's do it again real soon.